Hi. So for my presentation, we're going to do something a little different. Everybody's been sitting a lot today. So I was thinking, can we stand up? But please don't talk because I have some instructions for you. So I know when I stand up, I like to start chatting. And so I'm sorry for doing that to you. But what we're going to do is a really cool visualization that I've seen done before in other places. I would like us to try and organize based on how many different software tools you're using in your business. And the reason why we're going to do this is because I would like you to be around other people who are using similar number of tools as you are, so you can know who to talk to here and maybe network a little bit, ask some questions. And in addition to listening to my presentation, you will have an entire community around you that you can also use as a resource. So we're going to go with, if you are just using Airbnb and no other, I'm just going to assume most people are using Airbnb. Maybe that's a bad assumption. But let's just say you're just barely using any other software besides the bookings platforms. You're going to be on this side. And then if you're using like a PMS or digital guidebooks, you might be here. If you're using like dynamic pricing, insurance, turnover management, et cetera. So if you're using like 6 software tools, let's say you're going to be kind of on that end of the spectrum. And if you're using like 0 to 1, you're going to be on that end. So get up, move. You don't have to. You can kind of stay in the row. I know it's going to be weird. Leave your stuff where it is. Walk to the area that you think is the best fit for you. We're not alone. You are not alone. There will be other people on the spectrum with you. Okay, cool. Great. So maybe raise your hand if you're where you feel like you are meant to be on the spectrum. Yeah, everybody's there? Okay, cool. So what we're going to do now is, if you don't mind, do you mind standing a little bit? Is that okay? I would appreciate standing. I'm standing, so I thought it'd be fun for you all to stand. We're going to go through really quick, like 5 minutes of presentation. I'm going to go through 8 key categories of software technology tools that you might want to think about for your business. And then George is going to come on next. She's awesome, too. So I grew up going to Mexico with my family. I had a terrible haircut. And this is a picture of me with my dad and my sister going to Mexico. I really learned a lot about hospitality in Mexico, going to these vacation, like a timeshare resort with my parents. Now I travel a lot with my family. And I love providing world-class hospitality. That's why I wanted to start a company in the travel space. I think travel does amazing things for the world. It brings us closer together. It helps people build empathy between each other and see the world in a new light. And I think that's just better for everybody. So that's why I'm the CEO of Hostfully. In today's presentation, though, we're going to walk through some insights that we've learned as being Hostfully. What is this world of technology? Where should you start? And what are some key questions you should be asking any software company that you're thinking about using for your business? So Hostfully, we have a unique viewpoint. We have a lot of customers all around the world. We've won some awards. We've got really high customer satisfaction, blah, 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 all the great things about Hostfully. But the real thing that makes it interesting that we are Hostfully is that we are a platform product. There are really only a handful of other companies out there in the vacation rental space that are doing this. And we were so grateful to be here today because actually a lot of our platform partners recommended that we come to this conference because we can provide this big perspective. So here's just one, like, I don't know if you saw, Simon Lehman actually came out with another chart that looked like this. It's just tons of logos with tons of different software providers out there. Very, very overwhelming, especially if you're on this side of the room, to think about. But at Hostfully, we actually partner with all of these that are in bold. So the ones that are grayed out are some of our competitors and just other companies we haven't partnered with yet. But we have this unique perspective on the market. We see lots of different software tools out there. And this presentation is not going to go into detail on who's who and what they do. But if you want to talk to me or Lisa or Megan, are you here? Oh, they're at the back of the room waving. Please come by our booth later, and we're happy to talk to you about what might be a good fit for your business. But we do have this unique viewpoint, and it's unlike anything else that's out there. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. What we think about when we think about software tools out there is we don't think about all the different logos. We think about them in different categories. And companies, even like Hostfully, can fit into multiple categories, but generally will fit most properly into one. So you can think about property management software, which is what Hostfully does. There's also turnover and cleaning management, channel management, of course, home automation, There's guest verification, dynamic pricing. These are the categories that we think about. But in preparing for this presentation, I was thinking, like, if I was just getting started and I just told a friend, hey, I have a software business and you should think about software, like, how would I talk to them about it? So I have broken it down into 8 key categories that I think you should be thinking about, which would provide a foundation for your business to be able to understand what's going on and be able to make really good decisions, which ultimately is what software should help you with. So first off, we have central property management software. And this is why we have that unique viewpoint. But property management software should be the place where you're running your business. And you should feel a very high level of trust in whatever property management software tool you use. That said, having been the CEO of a company that makes this software, it is very challenging to build really good property management software because we have to handle lots and lots of data. So the bar is very high to build it, but your expectations also should be high in how you consume it. And that's okay. I'll tell you a little bit more later on how to ask the right questions to figure out if you're getting the level of service that you want. Then these are the other key things I think you should think about. One is, like, how good are you at distribution? Are you able to get to all the different bookings platforms that you want to? And are you able to manage that distribution the way you'd like? How well are you able to service your guests? We also at Hostfully have a digital guidebook platform. I would strongly recommend that, especially for people on this side of the room, as kind of like a first step into software, and also a way for you to streamline and improve your guest experience. Third, we have revenue management, and this is where we put companies like Price Labs for dynamic pricing. And this is where you probably could be making 10, 15, 20, 30% more money by just optimizing your revenue strategy. That's a lot, so at the end of the day, it's something you want to think about. Then you have data, companies like Key Data looking at market data, understanding your own customer data. That's a little bit more sophisticated. And I think actually, if you are just getting started, that would be one of the lower ones on the list, in my opinion, compared to that. But I would also look at these other categories like turnover management, especially if you're managing a property remotely. You want to think about how can you automate and maintain a very high quality level for your turnover management, which means you probably need software, right? You need someone to take a photo of the place after it's cleaned and post it somewhere so that you can look at it. And then you need to be able to communicate with that cleaning provider to make sure that the quality level is there. So that's really important. Then we have locks and home automation. This is companies, I'm actually blanking on the companies in this category right now, so I'm going to skip over that one. But if I pulled up the logo slide, we could do it. But you can see there's all these other categories. These are 3 other key ones I would look at: locks and home automation, guest checks and insurance, and of course, your own direct website. So if you look on page 14 of the magazine, I see you all kind of have it up, some of you do. There's actually this presentation, but in a 1-page format. And so if you're thinking about, like, what checklist of software should I be thinking about, just go to page 14. But the best thing to do is actually to talk to somebody who knows what your business is about. And that's one thing that we love to do at Hostfully. So if you're curious about what you think the next software tool is that you should be using for your business, like, please just come talk to us. And instead of doing it in a big group, I think it's actually going to be cool. I'm going to give you some time at the end of this to talk to each other. Okay, so the next step of this presentation is what key questions you should be asking of your software providers. And I am such an idiot because I don't do this, and I talk about it. So I'm like, these are things like, that you should do, and it's so easy to, like, forget that you should do it. But here are the questions you should ask. I wish every customer asked us these questions because they would come in with the right expectations about what we can deliver. And so I'm really hoping that these help you. So the first thing to know is that you don't need to be an expert in software to ask these right questions. And actually, don't get overwhelmed by the idea of, like, understanding what the next feature on the roadmap should be. But what you're trying to understand is how the company treats its customers. How much does it give you a feeling of trust and of comfort in working with them so that you feel like you can have a long-lasting relationship with them? Because at the end of the day, that's what you want. So this first question, what are the next features on your roadmap? You're not looking to, like, agree with the next features or even really understand what they are about, but you want to understand that that company is thinking ahead and thinking about innovation and constantly improving what they're doing. And if you're on with a salesperson or a customer success person or another customer and they have no idea what's on the roadmap, that's a red flag. That means that software company might not be innovating. It may not be investing in its customers. It may not be growing. It may not be able to service its customers in the right way. So this is a kind of a leading question where you're not actually looking for the answer to this question, but you're looking for it to like uncover the way that company behaves and thinks about you as a customer. The second question is, what other software companies are you partnered with? And this is not, again, you're not going in with like a checklist of other companies that the one you're asking is partnered with. You're actually going in and asking them, how much does this industry trust you? Do you do business fairly? Do you build software that can be integrated with other companies? If their list of partners is very low, you might be concerned. You should be concerned. The same thing is like, what was the last update you made with that partner? And if the person doesn't know it off the top of their head, that's okay. I actually don't know the last update we made with Price Labs, but I know that like Price Labs and Hostfully are great partners with each other. And if you needed me to go back and research that, I can come back and send you a quick email. So this is a question you can ask to just uncover that trust level and make sure that you understand that the company that you're talking to is actually trustworthy and has a high level of integrity in the business in the way that they do partnerships. Okay, we're going to skip over this section because it's long. Okay, because I don't have that much minute. I don't have that many minutes, and I want to give you some time to chat. I did this presentation in Spanish in Mexico, so that's why there's Spanish up there. Okay. The next one is, what are the last 2 features that you launched, and when was that? You want to be talking to a company that is launching features every month at a minimum. At Hostfully, we're doing weekly launches. Not all the launches we do weekly are super newsworthy. Like today, we did a launch that was like updating the user experience of our enhanced reporting in this section where you customize it. It's a very small feature launch, but you're looking for a momentum and innovation, constant innovation from that partner. So make sure that you ask this question because it really does also show you how much they're investing and continuing to invest in progress with the product. And then this is an important one. What support will I receive after I sign up? How will I contact support? Is it chat? Is it email? Can I call somebody? These are important things to know up front. And how long will it take me to receive a reply back from your team? You can, of course, they can tell you the SLA, but you're kind of wanting to hear how they're talking about their customer support. So if they're kind of couching things or like apologetic about it, like you might pick up on some things that are interesting for you. And then finally, I think this is the last one. Tell me about your onboarding experience. So if I sign up today, what's going to happen? And you're going to want to know, like, how soon can I talk to somebody to get started? What's involved in the onboarding experience? Honestly, if the company is more conservative about how they talk to you about it, it's probably a good sign. So companies that sell and deliver really high-quality software, it oftentimes just takes time to get started because you need to do it in the right order. You need to configure things correctly. You need to make sure that that software is tailored to your specific business. And if they're going to come in and say, like, oh, it's just a flip of a switch and you're going to get started today, everything will be set. Like, that does not feel like a good answer to me. That feels like a brush-off answer. So you're wanting to like really understand some details about what the onboarding experience looks like. And then also make sure, are you planning for the future? Are you thinking about your business today, or are you thinking about your business a year from now? Highly recommend thinking about your business a year from now and not today. These questions are in a presentation that I'm giving today, and I also put some of them also on that worksheet. If you want the list of full questions, I would be happy to share that too, so just come by our booth. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. I have 1 minute left, which is not quite enough time for this, but that's okay. What I would like you to do is turn around and like talk to a couple of the people around you about the software tools that you're using, and then I will wrap it up in like 2 minutes, and then we will move on to the next part of our presentation. Sound okay? Okay, thank you. Is it okay if I go 2 minutes over? Okay. So I'm going to wrap up my presentation. My name is Margot. Thank you for having me. And I hope you stop by our booth. And I am giving that on to Will Slickers.